สถิตกลางใจปวงประชาด้วยสำนึกในพระกรุณาธิคุณตราบนิจนิรันดร์ข้าพระพุทธเจ้าคณะผู้บริหารครูและบุคลากรทางการศึกษาโรงเรียนบางปะกงบวรวิทยายนWelcome to BW Global Bacon. I'm Edison Yanswer and these are the top stories. Thailand's Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul has ordered a full-scale crackdown on corruption within the local government recruitment process. This decision follows the arrest of a network accused of selling positions in local administrative organizations. The arrests were made by the Anti-Corruption and Misconduct Division in collaboration with the National Anti-Corruption Commission.The Permanent Secretary for Interior, Mr. Asit Sampantharat, called the media conference to address a leaked audio clip that suggested his wife had connections to influential figures and was involved in the alleged wrongdoing. He took the extraordinary step of distributing his wife's personal and professional history to journalists.Israel has expanded its military zone in Gaza with the United Nations designated Orange Line, now covering an additional 11% of the territory. Qatar has established an air bridge to deliver emergency aid to Venezuela following a major earthquake.An intense heat wave is sweeping across Europe, pushing temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius in parts of Spain, Italy, and France. Dozens of people have died. But first, we'll take a look at Starting Point, your window to the world.Thailand's Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul said that the corruption and fraud during the recruitment of civil servants in the country is unacceptable.
ถ้ายิ่งตามข่าวหาแล้วก็จะเป็นลมหัวละ 350,000 ถึง 700,000 บาทยังไม่ทันเป็นตำแหน่งอะไรเลยแค่เหยียบเท้าเข้ามาเป็นข้าราชการครั้งแรกในชีวิตเงินเดือนไม่ถึง 15,000 แล้วคุณต้องมีต้นทุน 350,000 บาทการทุจริตทำผิดกฎหมายประพฤติมิชอบคอร์รัปชันเรียกรับถ้ามันไม่ถูกต้องก็ต้องดำเนินการให้มันถูกต้อง
People in Bangkok are heading to the polling station to vote for their next Bangkok governor.
ภายหลังเปิดหีบเลือกตั้งเมื่อเวลา 8 นาฬิกาที่ผ่านมาค่ะนายณรงค์เรืองศรีปลัดกรุงเทพมหานครในฐานะผู้อำนวยการเลือกตั้งประจำท้องถิ่นกรุงเทพมหานครได้ลงพื้นที่ตรวจเยี่ยมการปฏิบัติงานของเจ้าหน้าที่ประจำหน่วยเลือกตั้งพร้อมใช้สิทธิเลือกตั้งของตนเองท่ามกลางการอำนวยความสะดวกและรักษาความเรียบร้อยของเจ้าหน้าที่ในพื้นที่ค่ะบรรยากาศโดยรวมในช่วงเช้านะคะเป็นไปด้วยความเรียบร้อยมีประชาชนทยอยเดินทางมาใช้สิทธิเลือกตั้งอย่างต่อเนื่อง
Israel has extended military zone in Gaza, making humanitarian aid more difficult.
I was living in eastern Gaza, far away from the so-called Yellow Line, but all we could hear was the sound of shelling, artillery fire, and gunfire.
People in Europe are now finding their ways to cool down the condition after the region has been suffered from the sweltering heat.
Authorities in Europe estimate hundreds of people have died as a result of the heat wave in recent days.
แมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าอยู่เป็นเพื่อนกันนาน
A song that is generated by น้องเฟย์ณัฐวดี from มัธยมศึกษา 3/3 is a truly stunning. สุภาวดีจิตวงศ์ and ทันชนกพลอยบุตร from มัธยมศึกษา 6/4 have the information about unique and exotic Thai arts.This
program was made possible by the Department of Foreign Languages of Bang Pei Khang Boen Watan School and the contribution from listeners like you. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. We begin the program with a developing story this midday involving the Prime Minister and a major corruption scandal within the Ministry of Interior. The Prime Minister is speaking out forcefully after reports of a massive bribery scheme linked to local government recruitment exams, an issue that has now led to the immediate dismissal of a high-ranking official. The controversy erupted after the Prime Minister expressed his outrage, stating that while the initial salary of the candidates is less than 15,000 baht, some candidates were allegedly paying up to 700,000 Thai baht to secure a government position. This has prompted a swift and decisive response from the government. Thailand's Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul has ordered a full-scale crackdown on corruption within the local government recruitment process. The decision follows the arrest of a network accused of selling positions in local administrative organizations. The arrests were made by the Anti-Corruption Commission and Misconduct Division in collaboration with the National Anti-Corruption Commission. The Prime Minister made it clear that such corruption cannot and will not be tolerated within the Ministry of Interior. The Prime Minister says such case is unacceptable.
ถ้ายิ่งตามข่าวอ่านแล้วก็จะเป็นลมหัวละ350,000 ถึง 700,000 บาทยังไม่ทันเป็นตำแหน่งอะไรเลยแค่เหยียบเท้าเข้ามาเป็นข้าราชการครั้งแรกในชีวิตเงินเดือนไม่ถึง 15,000 แล้วคุณต้องมีต้นทุน 350,000 บาทอย่างต่ำแล้วประเทศไทยมันจะอยู่ได้ยังไงล่ะอะไรก็ตามที่มันเป็นเรื่องของการทุจริตทำผิดกฎหมายประพฤติมิชอบคอร์รัปชันเรียกรับมันก็เราก็ต้องดำเนินการไอ้ถอดรากถอนโคนก็ยังไม่รู้มีปัญญาทำได้ในเวลาเท่าไหร่แต่ว่าเราก็จับไปถ้ามันไม่ถูกต้องก็ต้องดำเนินการให้มันถูกต้อง
When questioned about the validity of the exams for those who may have benefited from the fraud, the Deputy Prime Minister of Interior, Mr. Warasit Liangprasert, stated it was too early to comment. He emphasized that a thorough investigation is required before any decisions are made. The Department of Local Administration, or DLA, which hired the exam organizers, will be central to this review.
อยากจะเรียนกับพี่น้องสื่อมวลชนแบบนี้ว่าเดี๋ยวรอข้อมูลออกมาให้ชัดเจนกว่านี้ก่อนนะครับในส่วนที่ว่าผลการสอบจะเป็นอย่างไรนะครับคนที่เข้ากระบวนการคนที่มีการจ่ายเงินมาจะมีความผิดด้วยหรือไม่อะไรหรือไม่อันนี้เนี่ยผมว่าอย่าพึ่งก่อนใจเย็นๆก่อนรอข้อมูลข้อเท็จจริงให้มันชัดเจนมากกว่านี้ในส่วนของข้อมูลครับสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นในการสอบครั้งนี้นะครับตามข้อมูลตามข่าวเนี่ยเขาบอกว่ามีเท่าไหร่นะ 3,000 ใช่ไหมครับแต่ในข้อเท็จจริงเนี่ยผมว่ามีมากกว่านั้นแต่เราเจอเท่าไหร่เราก็ต้องพูดไปตามข้อเท็จจริงนะครับในส่วนที่จะไปเจอเพิ่มเติมหรือไม่เจอเพิ่มเติมอะไรนั้นเดี๋ยวไปว่ากันในอนาคตครับ
The investigation is expected to be expansive, where reports indicate around 3,000 individuals are involved. The Deputy Prime Minister believes the actual number could be significantly higher, as the total number of exam participants was in the hundreds of thousands. The Parliamentary Committee on Anti-Corruption is also taking action. The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption and Misconduct confirmed that he has previously raised concerns about this issue. In fact, he had filed a complaint with the Prime Minister back in January of last year regarding bribery in the recruitment process in Srisaket and several other northeastern provinces. This week, the committee chaired by Mr. Kongkrit Chatmarirat will summon the Department of Local Administration and Srinakarin Virod University, the exam organizers, to provide a detailed explanation and determine if corruption occurred.
ในการชี้แจงหน่วยงานที่เกี่ยวข้องไม่ว่าจะเป็นกรมส่งเสริมปกครองส่วนท้องถิ่นนะครับแล้วก็ยังมีมหาวิทยาลัยนะครับที่ได้รับคัดเลือกในการสอบทั้งหมดขั้นตอนทั้งหมดนะครับตรงนี้ต้องเข้ามาชี้แจงด้วยนั่นคือมหาวิทยาลัยมสวครับอีกหน่วยงานหนึ่งก็น่าจะเป็นหน่วยงานเกี่ยวกับภาคเอกชนที่น่าจะมีการจัดซื้อจัดจ้างในส่วนของมสวที่ให้เข้ามาช่วยมีบทบาทนะครับสิ่งอื่นสิ่งต่างๆเนี่ยหน่วยงานหลักใหญ่เลยก็น่าจะเป็นกรมส่งเสริมปกครองส่วนท้องถิ่นให้มาร่วมชี้แจงและก็นำรายละเอียดในการที่เขาดำเนินการจัดหาผู้รับจ้างสอบเนี่ยเขาดำเนินตามขั้นตอนถูกต้องและเป็น มีการทุจริตหรือไม่อย่างไรอันนี้เราต้องมาให้เขามาชี้แจงก่อนหลังจากนั้นเมื่อเราได้รับข้อมูลชี้แจงเนี่ยเราอาจจะต้องนำข้อมูลนี้ส่งให้กับหน่วยงานที่รับผิดชอบโดยตรงช่วยตรวจสอบข้อเท็จจริงเพิ่มเติมอีกครั้งหนึ่ง
Meanwhile, the provincial level is also feeling the impact. In Phetchabun province, the governor, Mr. Saranyu Mitong, has issued an urgent order to the mayor of Vichianburi municipality. He has given the municipality a 7-day deadline to investigate allegations of misconduct related to the exam process. The head of the strategy and budget division, whose name is being withheld, was notably absent from work on Thursday. The most immediate consequence so far has been the issuance of a Ministry of Interior order. The Director General of the Department of Local Administration, Mr. Tirut Supawibunpon, has been similarly transferred to an inactive post at the ministry, effective immediately. When pressed on the transfer, Prime Minister Anutin gave a brief response stating simply that it was a matter of the Permanent Secretary of the Interior. However, the opposition is not satisfied. People's Party spokesperson Ms. Pakapon Munun Anand posted on social media questioning the government's sincerity. She urged that if the government truly wants to eradicate this corruption network, it must not simply use scapegoats. She insisted that the investigation must also extend it to Mr. Narita Kosa Siwilai, the former Director General of the DLA, who was in charge during the previous exam process. She pointed out that while multiple officials have already been removed, he remains in his position, raising question about the thoroughness of the purge. The Permanent Secretary for Interior, Mr. Ansit Sampantharat, called the media conference to address a leaked audio clip that suggested his wife and had connections to influential figures and was involved in the alleged wrongdoing. He took the extraordinary step of distributing his wife's personal and professional history to journalists. Mr. Ansit firmly stated that his wife has no involvement whatsoever in the corruption probe into the local exams.
ขอยืนยันด้วยเกียรติของปลัดกระทรวงมหาดไทยว่าข้อมูลต่างๆที่เผยแพร่มีความเชื่อมโยงเป็นญาติกับผู้ใหญ่ในบ้านเมืองเป็นเท็จทั้งสิ้นผมเชื่อมั่นในหลักธรรมที่ว่าผมผู้จงใจกล่าวเท็จหรือทำผิดแล้วจงใจปฏิเสธจะต้องรับผลชั่วนั้นภายใน3 วัน 7 วันอย่างแน่นอนพออยู่ดีๆวันดีคืนดีก็มีคลิปอะไรก็ไม่รู้ซึ่งเช็คแล้วทุกคนคงรู้นะว่ามาจากต่างประเทศแล้วก็อ้างถึงภรรยาผมซึ่งเดี๋ยวท่านผู้แถวก็จะได้ประวัติของภรรยาผมซึ่งไม่มีความเกี่ยวข้องอะไรเลยกับราชการ
In a related development, Prime Minister and Minister of Interior Anutin Chamwirakul has taken a proactive role in safeguarding evidence. Mr. Anutin visited the Department of Local Administration and the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation on Sunday to inspect security measures. He issued a direct and firm order to the Permanent Secretary, quote, "Under no circumstances must there be any fire or destruction of evidence related to the local exams." He reiterated that the security of the locations holding the exam files is paramount. In response, we're told that the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation has deployed fire trucks on a 24-hour standby at these critical locations as a precautionary measures. Back to the investigation, the Permanent Secretary for Interior also provided an update on the progress of the probe. He confirmed that the committee has been established to investigate the corruption allegations. Within 7 days, they will report their findings to Prime Minister Anutin. He further warned that legal process will be pursued on both criminal and disciplinary grounds. He also mentioned that a deadline of June the 1st has been set for relevant officials to report for questioning, stating that failure to appear will be considered a forfeiture of their rights. We continue in this BW Global Bacon with the high-stakes race for the governor of Bangkok. Polls opened early on Sunday morning across the capital. The city's top candidates have already been out in force, casting their own votes and urging citizens to make their voices heard. We have a full report from Channel 5 on the action from the biggest polling station.
สำหรับการเลือกตั้งสมาชิกสภากรุงเทพมหานครหรือสกและผู้ว่าราชการกรุงเทพมหานครในพื้นที่เขตคลองสามวาซึ่งเป็นเขตที่มีผู้มีสิทธิ์เลือกตั้งมากที่สุดของกรุงเทพมหานครมีผู้มีสิทธิ์เลือกตั้งผู้ว่าราชการกรุงเทพมหานครจำนวน 172,765 คนและผู้มีสิทธิ์เลือกตั้งสมาชิกสภากรุงเทพมหานครจำนวน 173,357 คนภายหลังเปิดหีบเลือกตั้งเมื่อเวลา 8 นาฬิกาที่ผ่านมาค่ะนายณรงค์เรืองศรีปลัดกรุงเทพมหานครในฐานะผู้อำนวยการเลือกตั้งประจำท้องถิ่นกรุงเทพมหานครได้ลงพื้นที่ตรวจเยี่ยมการปฏิบัติงานของเจ้าหน้าที่ประจำหน่วยเลือกตั้งพร้อมใช้สิทธิเลือกตั้งของตนเองท่ามกลางการอำนวยความสะดวกและรักษาความเรียบร้อยของเจ้าหน้าที่ในพื้นที่ค่ะบรรยากาศโดยรวมในช่วงเช้านะคะเป็นไปด้วยความเรียบร้อยมีประชาชนทยอยเดินทางมาใช้สิทธิเลือกตั้งอย่างต่อเนื่องแม้จะยังไม่หนาแน่นคาดว่าในช่วงสายและหลังจากนี้ค่ะจะมีประชาชนออกมาใช้สิทธิเพิ่มมากขึ้นโดยเจ้าหน้าที่ค่ะได้เตรียมมาตรการรองรับและอำนวยความสะดวกเพื่อให้การลงคะแนนเป็นไปอย่างรวดเร็วโปร่งใสและก็เป็นระเบียบค่ะ
On Sunday, the morning started early and energetically for the leading candidates in the Bangkok governor election. The city's hopefuls, along with their families, made their way to polling stations from the break of dawn, all with one unified message: turnout is crucial. Independent candidate Matata Sitipan arrived well before the official start at 7:55 a.m., making a statement by cycling to polling unit 26 at Damdan School in Wattana district. He was among the very first to cat his bailout. Mr. Chachat admitted to a sleepless night, saying he woke up as early as 1 a.m. and went for a run. However, he expressed a quiet confidence, nothing that, like 4 years ago, he now has a concrete record to run on. Meanwhile, at a polling station unit on Sukhumvit Soi 4, Democratic Party candidate Anusha Burapachaisi arrived with his wife. He took the opportunity to remind voters of the simplicity and importance of the process, urging everyone to participate. Mr. Anusha said that after completing his civic duty, he planned to have family lunch before heading to the Democratic Party headquarters on Sunday afternoon to await the results. People's Party candidate Dr. Shaiwat Sathawan Vichit, known as Dr. Joe, was also an early voter at a station in Taling Chan district. Accompanied by his family, he highlighted the power of every single vote and called for transparency, urging residents to act as poll watchers. An independent candidate, Dr. Malika Bunmi Trakul Mahasuk, who cast her vote early in the morning, framed the election as a fundamental act of citizenship. She expressed pride in her 30-day campaign, stating she had given it her all. Now, with her bailout cast, she said she feels a sense of peace. The message from all corners is clear. The invitation to people of Bangkok. Polls remained open until 5 p.m. As the city watched and waited for the final tally, officials were reminding all registered voters to head to their designated polling stations before the closing time. Now, Supawadi Chittawong and Thanchanok Ploybut from Mathayom Siksa 6/4 have the information of unique and exotic Thai arts.
Hello, welcome. My name is Thanchanok Ploybut.
ดิฉันนางสาวสุภาวดีจิตวงศ์
Today, topic is Thai art, which includes painting, sculpture, and architecture.
วันนี้เราจะมาพูดถึงศิลปะไทยซึ่งครอบคลุมทั้งงานจิตรกรรมประติมากรรมและสถาปัตยกรรม
Much of Thai art is connected to Buddhism. Example includes painting in temple that tell Buddhist stories show face and Thai craftsmanship
ศิลปะไทยส่วนใหญ่เกี่ยวข้องกับพุทธศาสนา เช่น จิตรกรรมฝาผนังในวัดที่เล่าเรื่องพุทธประวัติ หรือรูปปั้นพระพุทธรูปที่สะท้อนความศรัทธาและความประณีตของช่างไทย
There is also force art such as food carving, weaving, and pottery, which represent local wisdom and community life.
นอกจากนี้ยังมีศิลปะพื้นบ้านที่สืบทอดกันมา เช่น งานแกะสลักไม้ ผ้าทอ และเครื่องปั้นดินเผา ซึ่งล้วนสะท้อนภูมิปัญญาท้องถิ่นและวิถีชีวิตของชุมชน
Thai art is not only beautiful but also meaningful, giving people pride in their cultural roots.
ศิลปะไทยไม่ได้มีแค่ความสวยงาม แต่ยังมีคุณค่าทางจิตใจ เป็นเครื่องยึดเหนี่ยวให้คนไทยมีความภาคภูมิใจในรากเหง้าของตนเอง
สวัสดีค่ะ
แมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าเดินเบาเหมือนลมมาห่างพริ้วผ่านประตูตาใสเหมือนรู้ดูนั่งเฝ้าหน้าชานบ้านคอยมองทุกคืนวันพอเรียกก็หันมาเหมือนรู้ใจทุกคราพอแสงเย็นร้อนเจ้าก็คลอเคียงก่อนคล้ายจะบอกให้พักให้วางเรื่องหนักๆลงแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋ามาอยู่ตรงนี้มาแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าใจฉันก็ยิ้มผ่าพอเธอมาใกล้กันโลกมันก็นุ่มลงพลันแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าอยู่เป็นเพื่อนกันนานๆเวลาเงียบในบ้านเจ้าเดินผ่านเบาๆข้างตะกร้าผ้าขาวแล้วมองฉันเหมือนเก่าพอได้ยินเสียงเรียกก็รีบมานั่งเคียงเหมือนรู้ว่าทุกวันฉันมีเธอข้างเคียงพอแสงเย็นร้อนเจ้าก็คลอเคียงก่อนใครจะบอกให้พักให้วางร้างเรื่องหนักๆนั่งลงแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋ามาอยู่ตรงนี้มาแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าใจฉันก็ยิ้มผ่าพอเธอมาใกล้กันโลกมันก็นุ่มลงพลันแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าอยู่เป็นเพื่อนกันนานๆถ้าวันไหนเหนื่อยล้าก็มีเจ้าอยู่ตรงหน้าแค่ได้ลูบหลังเบาใจก็หายร้าวรานแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋ามาอยู่ตรงนี้มาแมวเอ้ยเจ้าจ๋าใจฉันก็ยิ้มผ่าพอเธอมาใกล้กันโลกมันก็นุ่มลงพลันแมวเอ้
Welcome back to the program. Let's recap the headlines. Thailand's Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul has ordered a full-scale crackdown on corruption within the local government recruitment process. This decision follows the arrest of a network accused of selling positions in local administrative organizations. The arrests were made by the Anti-Corruption and Misconduct Division in collaboration with the National Anti-Corruption Commission. The Permanent Secretary for Interior, Mr. Asit Sampantharat, called the media conference to address a leaked audio clip that suggested his wife had connections to influential figures and was involved in the alleged wrongdoing. He took the extraordinary step of distributing his wife's personal and professional history to journalists. Israel has expanded its military zone in Gaza with the United Nations designated Orange Line, now covering an additional 11% of the territory. Qatar has established an air bridge to deliver emergency aid to Venezuela following a major earthquake. An intense heat wave is sweeping across Europe, pushing temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius in parts of Spain, Italy, and France. Dozens of people have died. Israel has expanded its military zone in Gaza with the United Nations designated Orange Line now covering an additional 11% of the territory. In total, Israeli restrictions apply to approximately 64% of the Strip, leaving just 36% for more than 2 million people. The United Nations says the expanded boundary is hampering already limited aid operations and forcing further displacement. Authorities in Gaza report ongoing civilian casualties near the zone, which carries no visible warning or markings. Al Jazeera's Ibrahim Al-Khalili reports from Gaza City, Palestine.
What Israel once presented as its yellow line, the boundary indicating where troops would withdraw to, has extended deeper into Gaza, forcing more Palestinian families from their homes. Saad Yassin has 5 daughters. He says he feared for their safety when Israel expanded the military zone.
I was living in eastern Gaza, far away from the so-called Yellow Line, but all we could hear was the sound of shelling, artillery fire, and gunfire. We were told we were not classified as being within the Yellow Line, but our fear took over. We fled because of the danger.
Israel says any humanitarian operations within this zone require coordination with the military. The new boundary covers an additional 11% of Gaza. The UN calls it the Orange Line. The total area under Israeli restrictions now amounts to 64% of the Strip, leaving just 36% of the land for more than 2 million people. Authorities say they receive regular reports of Israeli gunfire targeting civilians.
The issue with the so-called buffer zone is that there are no warnings or any visible markings indicating that these are dangerous areas. As a result, injuries continue to occur nearby.
What began as a military boundary has become something far more consequential, a redrawing of Gaza's geography. For families already displaced multiple times, the Orange Line means less land, fewer options, and a growing uncertainty over whether home remains a place they can ever return to. Ibrahim Khalili, Al Jazeera, Gaza City, Palestine.
Qatar has established an air bridge to deliver emergency aid to Venezuela following a major earthquake. A Qatari search and rescue team has arrived at Caracas main international airport carrying tents, medical supplies, and specialized canine units trained to locate survivors in urban rubble. With the critical 72-hour window for finding survivors already passed, rescuers warned operation may shift from search and rescue to search and recovery. Al Jazeera's Zain Bas Aravi reports from Caracas, Venezuela.
Chains being unhooked, heavy vehicles flown halfway around the world are offloading to join the emergency response and rescue efforts here in Venezuela. When an earthquake of this magnitude happens, the first 72 hours are critical when it comes to pulling people out of the rubble in an urban environment, and we are well past the 3-day mark. This Qatari Air Force plane is part of an air bridge that was set up to fly in vital supplies here to the main international airport outside of Caracas. After about 30 hours of travel time, a refueling stop in Morocco, they've just landed and unloaded vital essential supplies that they'll be taking into the field. They've flown in tents and shelters big enough for small families, medical supplies. The plan is to set up a field hospital, but crucial to the search and rescue will be this specialized canine search and rescue unit. They specialize in urban environments, and after the devastation that has happened during this earthquake here in Venezuela, these units will be vital to trying to pull people out of the rubble, still trying to pull people out of the rubble alive. But the worry is that this is quickly going from a search and rescue operation to a search and recovery operation. This unit that is joining the international aid effort knows that it is now a race against time. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera, at the main international airport outside of Caracas, Venezuela.
Despite hours continuing to tick by, search and rescue efforts in Venezuela are still yielding some success stories. A rescue team found an 11-year-old boy alive 3 days after the quake struck and transferred him to an ambulance on a stretcher. We have this report from Sky News.
Everything feels frenetic here in the place where Venezuela's earthquake did its worst. Come on, they say.
People are shouting for this ambulance to be brought here because they think someone may be alive in the rubble.
This is La Guaira on the 4th night of the search. It's now a race against time. A paramedic waits with an oxygen tank.
They think there's someone alive there?
Yes, a person.
You know, a man or a woman?
We don't know if it's a man or a woman. We were told there was someone alive and they went to search for them. We're standing by.
The fact that someone could still be alive in this is remarkable.
Yes, we pray to God for survivors.
Can you take us to where we need to go?
A team from the United States arrives to help.
Do you know whereabouts in the rubble that this person is?
I do not know.
Okay. What are you relying on? Sounds from inside the rubble?
We just got here, so we're not sure what they're working on right now.
You have specialist equipment to get to people if you need it?
If we need it, yes.
It's hard to keep track of all the searches happening at this one site. Some have heavy-duty machinery, others have none. They try to get in from the top and at the bottom too.
What you got? Check that one.
There's an appeal for silence as search dogs brought in by the Americans get to work. A crowd gathers to watch. And then a commotion in the distance, crowding the ambulance to try and catch a glimpse. Being carried from the wreckage, an 11-year-old boy. He spent more than 3 days in the darkness. Ready? Don't let go, the Mexican rescuers say. Make space, make space. He's survived the unimaginable. Nobody can know what he's been through or what comes next.
He's good. He's good. He just needs a little time to be okay.
Water and...
No. He's okay. He drinks water and he's talking. He's talking very well.
Everyone must receive such a boost when they find a little boy alive in that wreckage, right?
Of course. We all need this help, and we're all doing right. Working together with love, because the life human being is the most important thing that we can have.
They know the window for saving people is closing fast, and that's why these moments mean so much. Martha Kellner, Sky News, La Guaira, Venezuela.
An intense heat wave is sweeping across Europe, pushing temperatures above 40 degrees in parts of Spain, Italy, and France, with dozens of deaths reported as people struggle to cope with the extreme conditions. Authorities warned that climate change is driving more frequent and severe heat events, with scientists saying Europe is warming at twice the global average due to geography, atmospheric patterns, and reduced air pollution that once had a cooling effect. Experts say so-called heat domes are trapping hot air over large parts of the continent, while government face increasing pressure to adapt cities and infrastructure to a new climate reality. From closed schools and public spaces to emergency measures in major cities, officials are scrambling to respond as fatalities rise and the scale of the crisis becomes clearer. Al Jazeera Natasha Butler reports.
Sweltering hot with little respite as an intense heat wave grips most of Europe. Countries including Spain, Italy and France have already recorded their hottest June days.
On this animation, we can see that the warm heat wave is spreading to the north of Europe.
This forecaster says France is trapped under what's called a heat dome.
And we have also high pressure established in all Europe, with compressing the air mass, and when you compress air mass, you increase the heat.
Scientists say climate change is warming Europe twice as fast as the global average, for several reasons.
Europe is mainly landmass, and land heats up much more rapidly than oceans. The continent is also close to the Arctic, which is heating up faster than the rest of the planet. Anticyclonic or high-pressure systems are changing. They clear the skies and can trap hot air over the continent. There's also what some scientists call unmasking. Europe's actually reduced air pollution in recent decades, but paradoxically, some of those air pollution particles actually acted as a shield. As European governments scramble for solutions to adapt their cities, scientists say quick fixes are not enough.
It is frustrating that the scientific community was not heard. Climate disasters now threaten our food security, energy systems and critical infrastructure. We must urgently stop greenhouse gas emissions before the consequences become irreversible.
This French Green Party MP says it's also about workers' rights.
We need a new legal right to address the new climate reality. Workers should be eligible for 5 days of climate leave, so they can stop work during red alert heat waves, when there are floods that have submerged their homes, or major storms.
Authorities in Europe estimate hundreds of people have died as a result of the heat wave in recent days. The fatal consequences of ignoring a worsening climate emergency. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Paris.
Back to this country, the unofficial vote count in the 2026 Bangkok governor election has reached a pivotal stage, with a clear and historic front-runner emerging. In what is being described as a landslide victory, Mr. Chacha Sittipan is on track to secure a second term as the governor of Bangkok. According to the latest unofficial tally, he has shattered his own previous vote record. In a commanding lead at number 1, Mr. Chacha Sittipan has garnered a staggering 1,444,914 votes. Far behind in second place is Ms. Malika Bunmi Trakoon Mahasuk with 288,171 votes. In third is Mr. Chaiwat Sathawon Vijit with 176,934 votes. In fourth place goes to Mr. Anucha Burapachai of the Democratic Party with 101,819 votes. And rounding out the top 5 is Mom Luang Gon Kasiwit Kasem Si with 45,598 votes. This election is making history for a new record. The analysis shows that Mr. Chacha's current tally has already surpassed the previous record high for a Bangkok governor election, which he himself set in 2022 when he won his first term with 1,386,233 votes. This effectively means he has beaten his own benchmark, solidifying his mandate from the people of Bangkok. The Election Commission has confirmed that the counting is proceeding smoothly and is nearly complete. While his result remains unofficial, the massive margin of victory suggests the political landscape in the capital has firmly cemented its support for Mr. Chacha's administration. These are BW Global Bacons. I'm Adis Nyantaran and our news team. Bye-bye.